Fortunate that he lives here in Denver, Colorado, Mr. T.R. Reid.
Hi everybody, I'm T.R. Reid. I live in scenic southeast Denver, a lovely part of our state represented by my neighbors Daniel Kagan and Joyce Foster, and I'm a reporter. The reason I'm here is because as a reporter I went around the world to see how other countries provide health care, and what I found were lots of different systems, but one crucial area of agreement, and that is all the other industrialized nations, all the other industrialized rich democracies, countries like us, cover everybody. They cover everybody. The United States is the only industrialized democracy that leaves tens of millions of our fellow citizens without health insurance, about 800,000 of our fellow Coloradans. And that's what grabs me about Senate Bill 168, or two words in there, all Coloradans. The plan here is to come up with a system that will provide universal coverage and bring us on par with all those other industrialized democracies. So why should you do that? If a legislator is considering this bill, why would you want to support universal health care coverage? I'll give you 5 reasons. First, covering everybody saves lives. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? If people get sick and they have access to a doctor, they're not going to die. And according to the National Academy of Sciences, about 10 of our fellow Coloradans die every week of treatable diseases because they can't afford a doctor. We wouldn't lose our neighbors. We wouldn't leave those orphans if we gave everybody health care coverage. Second is maybe a little less obvious. Universal coverage saves money. If you cover everybody, you spend less overall on health care. I won't go through all the reasons. They are in my book. You want proof? I mentioned all the other industrialized democracies. All of them cover everybody. On average, they spend half as much as we do on health care, even though we leave 50 million uninsured. So if your goal is to reduce spending, to cut taxes, to cut the state budget, and do something with our shortfall, universal coverage is a powerful tool to get there. Those 800,000 Coloradans who are uninsured don't save us a dime. They cost us hundreds of millions of dollars extra in higher insurance premiums, higher insurance bills, and higher taxes. If you want to cut the state budget, provide health care for everybody. Third, universal coverage reduces the rate of abortion. You want proof? All those other industrialized democracies, all of them, with one exception, they cover everybody and they have lower, significantly lower rates of abortion than the United States does. If you want fewer abortions in Colorado, provide health care for everybody. The connection here was explained to me by Cardinal Basil Hume, the Roman Catholic prelate of the United Kingdom. Here's what he said. He said, look, isn't it obvious? Isn't it obvious? If that scared 19-year-old woman knows that she and her baby will have access to good health care without breaking the bank, she's more likely to carry the baby to term. That makes sense to me, and the proof is in all the other countries with universal coverage. Any legislature who wants to reduce the number of abortions in Colorado should vote for universal health care coverage. Again, another reason is, you know what, it's the right thing to do. All of our fundamental value structure, our fundamental Judeo-Christian values that stand at the heart of our society, call for us to care for the least of our brethren. They care for us to heal all the sick. This is through all the founding documents of Western culture. If we covered everybody, we'd be doing what we know is morally right. And finally, we ought to do this for a political reason, and that is the voters of Colorado recently, by a large margin, endorsed universal coverage. This was last fall. There was an amendment on the ballot in Colorado that said nobody has to buy health insurance. You can do without health insurance if you don't want to. If you don't want it. And by a large margin, the voters rejected that idea. They voted that everybody in Colorado should have health care coverage. So look at this idea. If we cover everybody in Colorado, we're going to save lives. We're going to save money. We're going to reduce the rate of abortion. We're going to put our state in accord with our basic Western values, and we're going to do what the voters of Colorado have already told us to do. To me, that's a compelling idea.